My name is Betu Karaka. I am the founder and CEO of Betu Naturals. The concept started a while ago, about 3 years ago, but the company was officially registered in December 2015, and we started our operations in January 2016. So we've been in the market technically for about 7 months. We currently have 4 products. We have our hair and body butter, we have a whipped organic shea butter, we have a hot oil treatment, and an edge control gel. I think for me, I was looking mostly for a natural solution for my hair. I had been natural for a long time and I couldn't find good enough products for my hair. So I started making batches of small things, shea butter with different things. And then it eventually became the kind of hobby that I'd make too much, give people. And then it became even more expensive because now I was just making stuff and giving it away. And then a couple of friends of mine suggested, you could do this as a really good business, so why don't you explore it? So they became some of my first guinea pigs. So I made the product and I ended up developing something that most people liked. Initially, it wasn't easy and it wasn't great, but over time it has become a much better product that many people love and appreciate. The product basically evolves every few months. We are looking to have lots of people, any products that are natural out there. We have a lot of healthy, natural things growing in Africa. So we are looking to use natural products in Africa. So we look for an oil. If we find that it's a nice organic oil, then we find a way to integrate it. So that's how the product changes. Sometimes we have customers who come and request for different types of products. So depending on how many times and how many people request a certain product, then we start to do the research about it. We start to look at what we would need to do to actually create that product, and then that's how we end up developing something new. Something like the edge control came from a friend of mine who said, I need something for my edges. So she was one of the people who I use regularly to test my products. Before I put them out in the market, I test them not just on myself. I have a group of people who I test, whether they're friends or family. And it's a long process. It takes a while before the product actually gets out there. For now, we're doing organic markets and we are really enjoying that process. We're at the Westlands Organic Market every Sunday, which is kind of like our home base. So you should check it out, the Westlands Organic Market at the Alchemist. It has been the place where we've been for the longest, simply because it worked for us. It was a place for us to sit and interact with our customers, get feedback, have conversations, and that has been really helpful. We are working on getting standardization, but one of the biggest challenges we have with standardization is that natural products are tested using the same parameters as non-organic products. So you have the standards for a lotion or an oil or even a shampoo that are mostly non-organic, and then your products are expected to behave the same way. So it's unlikely that our products will ever pass those standards simply because they are not created or designed to behave like that. A shampoo does not necessarily have to lather so much for it to cleanse. We are in a space where now people are using cleansers. So if our cleansing conditioner doesn't lather the way our shampoo lathers, then it will never pass testing. Yet it's a product that actually does what it's supposed to do. But if the standard requires a certain form of lathering for it to pass, then we're in trouble. My initial investment, because at the time I was still just trying to see whether I could do this, was about 3,000 shillings. And with that, I bought 2 kilos of cocoa butter and 3 kilos of shea butter. And that's how I started. So I mixed and mixed and mixed until something came out of it, and everyone who used it was happy. Since then, I don't take a salary from the company. Everything that we make goes back into the company. I set up the company in a way that I do not necessarily have to touch those funds. So up to maybe 90, almost 100% goes back, depending on the things that we are doing. There are certain little costs that will come out of the company, whether it's delivery or fuel or packing or stuff like that. But for the most part, everything we make goes back into the company. The plan is just to grow and see where this journey takes us. We have a lot of product development work that we're doing. We have a lot of research that we're doing. We're personally at this moment studying the science of hair. So just small things like that, just learning with the journey. And every day and every experience is new. So we are actually just growing organically as we learn. So the plan is just to have more products in the market, have a bigger market, expand into East Africa, expand into Africa, and even if anyone called and said we want a product from any part of the world, we want to be able to satisfy that request. I didn't set off to start our company. I set off to just make something that worked for me, that grew into something that I could sell. And I think that's the thing. It has to be something that you believe in as a person, not necessarily something you're doing just for the sake of making money on the side. It's fine. I can develop things that can make more money, but it has to be within the same realm. So diversify your product, yes, you can make money by making something that is in the same industry but sells faster, but focus on your core business. When I started, I would leave work and go home and start making deliveries. I didn't just quit my job to start. So you can start doing what you're doing when you're doing your job. You don't have to quit your job and have a million shillings to start a business. I've done training with Akilidada, I've done training with Recreate Kenya. There are resources that are out there that can teach you things about business, that can definitely give you the tools you need to start a business that don't necessarily require money.